Well, as I cut the end of my Drew Estate Lounge cigar to get ready for this show, my name is the Nubian Sumo, and as usual, we have the usual suspects on with us. First up, hiding again behind the WCW NWO banner is the People's Choice, Don Rodriguez.
Just get a little light reading in, Game may make a comeback. Huh.
And then we also have the pilot of the mothership, the maintainer of the mothership, the man who's running the turntables, the big guy KG. What's up, bro?
What's happening? See, that's another haul that I get today. I'm in love with Hot Wheels, man, and I done found me a little honey pack, so I'm happy today.
Well, that's what's up. Everybody has their advice. I definitely have mine.
Hey, KG.
And as I stated,
remember this game?
Yes.
Oh, I'm doing some light reading. I don't know if it'll flip over well, but sorry, James, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's somebody that a nice little chapter in there. Can you guys see that? Hold that. That I was like, oh snap! Arguably the best character in the game there. Move, signature move, dive, and headbutt. But the second best one, like, yep. Wrestling game got somebody named Dim Sum. That's funny. I was doing some spring cleaning, and I was like, oh snap! I'll be damned. WCW versus NWO, arguably one of the top 3 greatest wrestling games of all time. And I see James is eager to tell us what he's drinking and smoking, and he's representing the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. So obviously, it's got to be something exquisite and good. Good. What you got, James?
well, first of all, we don't talk about Booker T up in here because Booker T is an ass. Anyway, I'm just wearing my Nature Boy shirt for lack of other options.
Thanks, James. That was anticlimactic.
Yeah. And while you were filibustering on the WCW book, I already showed my stick in my what I'm drinking.
Saw that.
So.
I know I saw it, but you didn't say what it was.
Well, they can
in podcast land.
I'm sure our audience is not illiterate, so they saw what the bottle was. It's all good.
But what about the podcast people that can't see, James? Gosh, what's this? How many weeks we've been doing this on video now, KG? What are we like? A month, 2 months, 2 years?
Well, video. I mean, shoot, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks of solid video, and he forgot his one job of remembering that we're dual platform. One job, dual platform.
Okay, damn.
All right. You get the Jurassic Park Asset Award. We're just going to drop the ET off of it. How about that?
You know what?
We're not sponsored by Jurassic Park,
I'm not dealing with you.
Would you like your sticker mailed to you, sir? Jurassic Asset? Would you like that sticker?
How about you kiss my ass set, okay?
Hey man, that sounds like that's a pun intended. You need to watch that.
Starting early.
We don't pay
okay,
you for
so for those that are video negligent at this time.
Why you gotta make it sound so bad, baby? They having trouble right now. They could be watching Versus on video and listening to us in podcast land. Dang.
Well, if they're listening to Versus right now, they need to get their life together. Who cares about Escape and SWV? They should be concentrating on us.
That was an alley-oop just to get KG to raise his hand because he probably thinking, oh snap, why not think about watching that tonight? But we digress. Go ahead, James.
But the Nubian Sumo tonight is powered by the Drew Estate Underground Lounge, which is only available at the Corona Cigar Company in Orlando, Florida. And I'm also drinking on the Cooper's Craft straight Kentucky bourbon.
Dang, James.
So
even though you're a buster, you must have paid a little extra on your cable bill this week because both of those look really clear. I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you. Good job, man. We may keep you around for 5 more minutes. Speaking of which, KG, I have a special request from the tech department. We're going to have to figure out how I can get access to the ticker so that way I can thoroughly say bad things about James on the ticker throughout the entire show.
Oh, man. You see.
Just so and KG, just so you know, my contract has been renewed, and there is a new caveat, a new clause in the contract saying that Don cannot have access to the ticker.
That's
and
right.
I believe that's the boss BJ down below.
I have access to see that Facebook is rocking and rolling for the Wrestlemaniacs or whatever. Folks watching on Facebook, just to let you know, tonight we are thoroughly not sponsored by Panera Bread and Panera Bread Vinaigrette. So we have no sponsorship by them at all.
Whoa.
I'm just trying to look bougie.
You gave. Whoa! Wait a minute.
I'm trying to be a hand model.
Wait,
hey, James, I'm trying to be a hand model. Did I get that? Did I get that hand model right, James?
You gave KG so much hell last week about having food on the show, and now all of a sudden it's all right for you to have your tallywhacker dressing.
See, that's why you can't flip off
show.
Old people, because they got one track mind. He can't even get out the fact that, you know what I'm saying, there could be some hand gesturing. He's just still trying to muddle out whatever he's trying to prove.
Because nobody gives a damn about your finger.
Well, actually.
Me too. Borderline. Don't cross it.
It was a pregnant pause.
Me too. Next.
Speaking of pregnant, and Lord knows I've seen a lot of speaking of pregnants in my lifetime, for real, with the exception of tax time, which I like to see the rewards of all the speaking of pregnants, but that's just besides the point. We are here on Mother's Day Eve to talk about some stuff that happened last week. So as much as James would like to go back and forth talking about all his craziness, we're going to let him smoke and drink. Maybe we'll let him talk at some point tonight. But we're going to jump in, do what we do, give you a nice little short and sweet special so that way you can spend time with one of the two, if you're married, most important women this weekend, and that being your mom or your mother. And then, you know, on Monday is back to the wife. So, Blood and Guts. Not a pay-per-view. It's a free preview of sorts. Kind of interesting, and I want to get you guys' opinion on two things. Because the first thing I thought was on the day of Daly's place, I'm like, okay, is it big enough to drop the ring? Well, I'm sorry, drop the cage. They can fit 2 rings because all they got to do is just move back where the wrestlers on the heel and face side are standing. So I know they have the space width-wise, but is it high enough for the ceilings to be able to drop it down? At first, the way they produced it, I was like, man, they actually had time during a commercial break to drop it down, and there was no problems. But kind of discovered through the wonders of social media that it was a little bit of an interesting situation. So the Blood and Guts hour was live, but all the other matches were taped. So that's the first thing I want to get your guys' opinion on. The second thing is the finish. Now, that's not removing some of the stuff that happened in the match, you had the 14 round robin match between SCU and Jurassic Express and Varsity Blondes and the Acclaimed to become #1 contenders. We had Kenny Omega and Michael Nakazawa going up against Eddie Kingston and Mox. We had Cody versus QT, a couple other matches in there as well, all before the main event, which was Pinnacle versus Inner Circle, and what we really know as War Games. For those that are wondering what is Blood and Guts match, it's War Games that we've seen many times before. But we'll talk about the main match. But did you guys see that social media post? Now, I saw it through, we're not sponsored by them, it can be kind of annoying sometimes. So I'm just going to say it, but we're not going to put emphasis on it, TikTok. And we're going to move on. So, but if we end up being on TikTok, make sure you go ahead and hit that heart button 8 million times so that way we can actually make $2 and be rich like some of those other people that TikTok all day with no life. So, gentlemen, the people there that were present paid some $80, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, got to watch on the big screen, the Tron, the first hour, and then they experienced the second hour. Not sure if there was anything after that, but there was some scuttlebutt that people were upset that it was basically a 1 hour live event with an hour tape. So what's your thoughts on that? And then also the finish for the actual match.
Well, did you also hear through TikTok that 5 people got refunds on that show?
Yes, that was subsequent talk of the ticks, yes.
Yeah, apparently Tony Khan came out and kind of explained what was going to happen, telling them that it was going to be a show on the Tron, so to speak, and that the live show would actually be the Blood and Guts show. And if they want, and if anybody would disagreed with what the programming set up, that they could come to them and get their money back. And 5 people actually did. They got their money back.
Yep.
But
would you have and KG asked you the same thing, would you have stayed or would you have gotten your money back, James?
Oh, the people that got their refund, I ended up staying. And I would have gotten my money back too and stayed. Why not get a free show?
Yeah.
Or
at least half of, you give me half my money back. Because, well, KG, what's your thoughts on that? And then I'll tell you how really they should have done it.
I got a lot of thoughts on the whole pay-per-view period, because a lot of things have came out since the end of it. And damn Skippy, I would have got my money back. AEW has not put out a bad product thus far, but this is a bad product. This was a bad batch, if you will.
You trying to do some Star Wars puns there? That they go on Disney Plus this week, just saying. Not sponsored by them either. We do a lot of not sponsored by. I just want to say that.
Maybe we start around.
Paul Tail didn't even want to give us the time of day, and Lord knows we like some Tail of podcasting. But go ahead. That's a universal statement. So, if somebody was different, elk, then it wouldn't be a Me Too, just saying.
Oh, just in case anybody's wondering, this is a Crown Royal glass, as you can see.
Why I got to be bougie?
This is a Crown Royal glass. As
fine, James. Fine. So, the last segment of the show is going to be brought to you by Play-Doh, just for no particular reason other than Play-Doh.
Well, if anybody's wondering, this is a Walmart cup. So no, but it was a lot that came out after this pay-per-view, and it's crazy. I mean, I want to save it, see if you guys cover it, but it's a lot that's going on. And
go ahead, spit it out.
Okay. Number one, they gave the refunds. Number two, you dipped this out of an hour. Who wants to go to a live match and you have to watch an hour on the Jumbotron?
But see,
I'm not feeling that.
Not to cut you off, but see, when I heard that, you know what the first thing came to my mind was?
WrestleMania 3.
No.
But that was expected for WrestleMania.
No. It was the Starrcade that they did from Greensboro and from Chicago, where they alternated the matches from between the two. So once Greensboro was seeing Chicago on closed circuit, and vice versa. And then they had like whatever the main event was in each place.
Right.
So
but it was booked that way, and it was advertised that way.
True.
So I mean, you knew what you were getting into. Even with WrestleMania 3, you knew what you were getting into. So you knew you would see half the show, and you just wanted to see which half you got. But then that was apropos to how the house show loops were anyway. Remember, we had an A and a B loop. So, you may have seen your favorite superstar this time, but 2 months from now, it's going to be other superstar before we had the brand extensions and all that. So they were running 2 different teams, 2 different loops, and that's just how things were done. So that fit in. Now, in my opinion, what they should have did was said, even if they didn't advertise it and, people were just there and say, hey, here's what's going to happen. First hour, you're going to see the tape version of Dynamite. I apologize for that, but in order to accommodate these 2 rings and the setup and everything, the way we built the truss and the entire double cage, we have to do it that way. You're going to have blood and guts after that. And then you're going to have an additional hour of matches that's going to feature these AAA superstars. So like Orange Cassidy didn't wrestle, so he's going to be wrestling afterwards. And they will be in the double cage to be shown at a later date. That's it. So it's a 3-hour show. What's up, KG?
But wait. They said that they weren't going to go after anybody that pirated Blood and Guts, right? And no. But they said they weren't going to go after anybody that posted clips online. They shut down a long-time YouTube page, Botchmania. Long time. This dude's been on YouTube for years, and they had him shut down. The hypocrisy of AEW to go after somebody like that because you did something that dirty, and they showed clips online, and you're bad. The hypocrisy.
Then they need to shut down all the Tick of the Talks, the Instagrams, and all that other stuff. Because
it's a whole bunch of websites and YouTube pages that do that. Hell, they might shut us down.
That was I guess ironically, you don't really hear about it too much in wrestling outside of kayfabe, but that was a hit. Botchman, that was a hit.
Here's the thing.
Hey guys, we're gonna take out the contract. We're gonna do the hit. Maybe y'all can help us somewhere because this is gonna be beneficial for all companies. That's what that was. That was a hit. That was 3 shots center mass, knee bomb. That was 3 shots center mass.
But see, here's the thing. To say that you're not going to go after anybody, but then you go after somebody and you shut down a long time page. You take them off of YouTube. You get them suspended over some bullshit.
Well, he can fight it, make a big deal about it, and come out on top. Whoever's running it. So I mean, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it for everybody. But if you didn't shut down all the other platforms, but I'm the only one, hey, I'm either going to make a larger stink or you're going to have to come up with some reparations on that. But,
don't say reparations because you ain't getting that.
Well,
they might.
The problem was how they shot it and why when they built the fall, the what do you call it? The stunt box. Why was the pad so high? There should have been a little bit more depth. So Jericho went down in instead of landing, and then the platforms popped up. And he should not have shot that close up. Every shot from Daly's place, because of how it's set up, should have been from top of the ring, looking down. Or looking to the side. Nothing should have been to the point to where you could see the pad underneath, the crash pad is what it's called, the pad underneath. And that's where, as soon as Jericho went and they showed the replay, it was like, God dang it, now I lost it. shout out to Jericho for selling it, but come on, y'all. You know, first is the pyro.
Yeah,
you know,
I was
we
about
get
to
the
say.
explosion, and now we don't get the the crashing through.
Yeah, we just needed the only thing that was missing was a sound effect.
Yeah. And then the production kept showing it. If you would have done the and then cut away and showed a different angle every single time, you'd have been okay. But you kept showing an angle from the production truck that made it not look good every single time. One shot, good, if you just had to do it from that close up. But 5, 6, 7, and you're just sitting there like, I see the pad, I see the pad, I see the pad, I see the pad, I see the pad. It's like, guys, come on. The match was just great all the way up until that.
And then the cardboard that was on top that he broke through, that just made it worse. You know?
And that's what the depth should have been. Like I said, if it's deep enough, maybe about, 2-3 feet deep, and then have the pad. So that way it could just, and you don't see Jericho. I would rather not see Jericho and they have to drop down and get him versus, anything else. And that actually on the WWE side of things makes the WWE's throwing somebody off the side of the stage or off the Tron and stuff, and you see something under the table actually look pretty good. So you're like, oh man, that's just something under the table. It's not even a big old bump anymore. Yeah,
they'd have been better off bringing out the mimosa pool again.
Yeah, but truthfully, I mean, if I was going to do the bump, I'll probably because I'm crazy enough, I'd push me off, especially if I was given a chance. I'd have maybe some tables set up and go through the tables. Let the tables break the fall, and then it is what it is. Maybe padding underneath so that way, it catches, but it's not made to break away. If it does break, okay, but there's something to crash through.
Yeah, covered tables would have been much better than what they did.
Yeah. And MJF could have orchestrated, bring the tables over, set it up. I'm going to throw them off. And then, the back and forth of, yeah, he's going to go. No, he's not going to go. Yeah, he's going to go. And then like, nah, he's not going to do it. And then all of a sudden, boom. That's how it would be. So they can't blame Omega.
But going back even before that, when the way the match ended, making the threat that he was going to push him off, and they just gave it up. That was bullshit. Because he was gonna push him off anyway. So I mean, why give up the match like that? That's
time to book your tour dates. I'm hoping that they're selling Jericho's injured and that it is what it is. Just let it be what it's going to be. Let him start his Fozzy tour, take his break, get ready for the cruise because ideally we're not too far away from that. And then it is what it's going to be. I mean. Hell, if they have to do a rematch, it'll have to be extra safe when somebody gets thrown off the cruise ship. Just saying. But you got to save face on this one, AEW. Like I said, that's 2 back-to-back finishes that didn't come to fruition. The first one, it's pyro. It's it's technical. We've all seen WWE's had it happen. I mean, it happens. Some things just don't fire. That's wiring. But this one was a planning idea that just didn't work out. But, so that was our opinion and our feeling of blood and guts. And now I believe it's time, if my production notes are looking accurate, to say goodbye to James and let him go finish doing whatever he's doing. And then KG and I are going to finish the show.
That's all right. I'll go over here and finish Jupiter's Legacy, and I'll let y'all have the show.
I don't know how to take that. He's actually volunteering to leave, KG.
I mean, if you want me off, I mean.
You know something I learned? When somebody volunteers to leave work, you make them stay.
Dang it. You sound just like the man.
He is the man.
Not that man.
No, he is that man. He's the boss. He's the where he at. He the boss.
Oh,
so he's telling you what he would do in this situation.
I gotta take this, man. I got a funeral I gotta go to. For real, I gotta be there. I don't even know him.
Well, I'll be like old girl on Everybody Hates Chris. My woman got 2 jobs. I don't need this.
All right, so speaking of two jobs, you failed on your first one, James. So here's your second chance at redemption. That's Just Nubian this week. Tell us about it. That's Just Nubian is also not sponsored by Buzzio water bottles. It does keep water cold for, I believe, if I'm wrong on that, just go with it because it's really good. This is a big ass bottle too, but work that thing out. You'll be good to go. We are not sponsored by them by any rights. So just want to make sure that's clear. But if you do buy one, then slide us $5.
Well, after that mediocre introduction, ladies and gentlemen, I'll go into what's going on with the independent scene as we know it today. And we'll start off with New Japan Pro Wrestling, where they had the Wrestling Dontaku shows back on March the 3rd and March the 4th. I'll go into the main matches where Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Tonga Loa for the right to challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, which should come up at some point in the near future. Tai Chi wound up winning his Iron Fingers ladder match, where he got the Iron Fingers back, and they haven't been seen since, which is pretty much a waste of a match to me, but oh well. Then you have Jay White, who defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi for the Never Openweight Championship, now making him the first ever Grand Slam champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So nice. he has held the IWGP Heavyweight, IWGP Intercontinental, IWGP United States Championship, and now the Never Openweight title. So we'll see who his first opponent will be coming up here soon. Then on May the 4th, they had some issues with some folks who have allegedly contracted or was close to people who had COVID-19. So they had 8 wrestlers who were taking off the card for protection, and they reordered the matches, which took out the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match between El Desperado and Yo from Roppongi 3K. So the main event for that match was Will Osprey versus Shingo Takagi for the World Heavyweight Championship, which was a very great match. It went 44 minutes and was an excellent match, of which Will Osprey came out with the dupe. So he will go on now to face Kazuchika Okada at some point. Now, they were supposed to meet for the Wrestling Grand Slam shows that were going to happen in Yokohama Stadium on the 15th and Tokyo Dome on the 29th. But because of the state of emergency that was made in Japan and other territories within the country, they have shut those down due to COVID-19 and the rise in infections that have happened here recently. So they're going to postpone those 2 shows and reschedule at some point. And that might affect the Dominion show that's supposed to happen on June the 6th as well. So we'll get back to those once I find out more about those things. And as far as New Japan Strong, on the last show, the main event was Jon Moxley and Chris Dickinson versus Yuji Nagata and Ren Narita, setting up their match for Wednesday, where Nagata will be challenging Jon Moxley for the IWGP United States Championship. So I wasn't able to see that match because of everything that I had to catch up on. So, but that is how the match turned out, and I'm not able to tell you how that match went, but I'm sure it was a pretty good match with the 4 guys that was in it, because Narita is one of the better Lions Den young lions that they have, and Nagata being the legend that he is, And Chris Dickinson is an up and comer who is in a whole bunch of different independents right now, and is the part of 2 different factions right now, being that he's part of Team Filthy, and he's part of Team Filthy in New Japan Strong, and he's part of Violence Unlimited in Ring of Honor. So he's doing pretty good work right now for himself, and having real good showings in his matches. So next up, we want to talk about Ring of Honor, where La Facción Ingobernable has been suspended without pay because of their antics that have been happening over the last month or so, where they physically ousted the female member of their group and kicked her out. And then they also had a no contest in a 6-man tag that they had a couple of weeks ago that wound up going to a no contest. So the board of directors, who have just been put together, have decided that they're going to suspend them without pay for 60 days. Now you have the match coming up with Quinn McKay, which is one of their backstage interviewers, going up against Angelina Love in a match where if Quinn wins, she'll be able to get into the women's world title match or tournament. And if Angelina Love wins, she'll get a first round bye. So that match will be coming up soon. We also had a match recently where OGK, the OG Kingdom, which is Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, wound up getting winning a tag title match for May the 22nd against the Foundation, who are the tag team champions, Hot Sauce Tracy Williams and Rhett Titus. Now, speaking of Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, he actually lost his television title recently to Tony Deppen, who is part of the Violence Unlimited faction that just formed recently with Brody King and Homicide and Chris Dickinson, who I mentioned earlier. So he is the first person within that faction to actually bring gold into that faction. So that's a good thing for them to build on. Then they've also named the first entrant into the women's world tag title match, who is a young lady by the name of Roxy, ROK-C. And so she is a independent wrestler who debuted in 2016 at the age of 14. She started her training back when she was 13 years old, under the guidance of Daga. For those who don't know who Daga is the boyfriend, significant other to Tessa Blanchard.
Yep.
Who they both apparently supposed to be moving to AEW at some point. So we'll see when that happens. She's a former Diamond Division champion for Reality of Wrestling, which is Booker T's organization down in Texas. And she's wrestled for other organizations like Shimmer, Rise, and AAW. AAW being another up-and-coming independent that's making their way into making people's attention. So, yeah, she's been doing her rounds for a little while now, and she's been catching a lot of attention. So be on the lookout for her, and I'll let you know what other entrants there will be before this starts. Now going to Impact, you've had El Fantasmo's debut on last week. So now Bullet Club is actually in Impact Wrestling, not the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega and all them, but you have an actual Japan Bullet Club member in Impact right now. So you had Gallows going again in a singles match against beating Juice Robinson, which is supposed to set up another tag match for them. Jordan Grace has been re-signed to Impact Wrestling. I'm not sure of the what her contract entails, or how long it's supposed to be. But once I find out, I'll let you all know. The six-way number one contender match that's supposed to happen at Under Siege has been completed. You have Trey Miguel, Moose, Chris Sabin, Chris Bay, Matt Cardona, and Sammy Callahan, who are going to be vying for the number one contendership. So you had Chris Sabin, who wound up beating Rhino last week. Trey Miguel, who beat Rohit Raju, and Moose wound up defeating James Storm for those spots in the six-way. So not much going on in the NWA right now, other than the fact that they are setting up for a new pay-per-view that's going to be on Fight TV, which is called When Our Shadows Fall is the name of the pay-per-view. And again, that's going to be on June the 6th at 4:00 in the afternoon on Fight TV. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can do so. They're also still showing the NWA Power every Tuesday at 6:05. So you can check that out as well. And I'm going a little sideways on what I usually talk about, because there's some things that are going on that need to be discussed, need to be brought up. So
Okay.
a lot of these things are revolving around the AAA Rey Del Reyes event that happened on May the 1st. So I'm gonna go through the card a little bit, because there's a lot of moving around and whatnot that went on during this pay-per-view, which was shown live on Mexican television. So which is one of their more significant pay-per-views, being the Rey Del Reyes match, which is the King of Kings match, is their version of the Royal Rumble, but it's like everybody's in the ring at the same time rather than people coming in one at a time, and then it ends with a actual match for the last two in the ring. So I'll get to that in a moment. But you had Psycho Clown and Pagano, which is two of their mainstays within the AWA, going up against Chessman and a mystery partner who wound up being Sam Adonis. Now, Sam Adonis is known in the independents as being in CMLL and raising a lot of sand down there, but he's also known as Corey Graves' younger brother. So he's been in Mexico doing his thing and making a name for himself. So that match wound up going into a no contest because Adonis ended up attacking his tag partner Chessman, along with Puma King and another wrestler named Diamante Azul, who is actually the Mexican national champion for CMLL. And they started a faction by the name of La Impresa. So La Impresa, they made their introduction into the wrestling world at that moment. So then you had the Rey Del Reyes match, which included Laredo Kid, Tejano Jr., Murder Clown, Aerostar, Drago, Abismo Negro Jr., Hijo de Vikingo, and Mysterious. And now I know you probably, if anybody that watches Lucha Underground recognizes a bunch of those names. There's some of those names have been in AEW and in Impact as well. Mm-hmm. So you had Laredo Kid, who wound up winning winner. Then you had the Rey Del Reyes title, the Reina Del Reyes title, which is a title that Tessa Blanchard formerly had. Taya Valkyrie has okay, all right. Taya Valkyrie actually had the title, but she gave up the title to go to WWE. So this match, which is a similar match to the Rey Del Reyes title match, is for that title. So you had Fabi Apache, Lady Shani, you had Lady Flamer, you had Chick Tormenta, you had Morivela, and a new Sexy Star. Now, for those who don't know about the story behind Sexy Star was a Mexican female wrestler who wound up getting into a match with, I believe, was Thunder Rosa, and wound up ended up shooting in the match and breaking Thunder Rosa's arm, and she ended up getting blacklisted from a lot of different organizations. So being that AAA actually owned the rights to the Sexy Star character, they gave that character and that mask to another woman who wound up, it was formerly Hija de Gatabella, like cat, Gatabella. So they gave her that moniker now. So she's the new Sexy Star, and the old Sexy Star is actually in MMA right now, and she's been in a few different matches and has a mixed record. You know, she's kind of 50-50 in her matches. So you won't be hearing from her again in the wrestling world anymore. So Fabi Apache, who has been seen on Impact Wrestling, has been in a few matches, wound up winning the title. And as soon as she won the title, Diana Perazzo, the Impact Knockouts champion, showed up and challenged her to a title versus title match, and which will most likely happen during Triple Mania, which will happen later on, sometime this summer. So I'll keep you up on that and let you know what's going on with Triple Mania, and let you know when that's going to be. But that should be interesting. Now, the Latin American title, which was vacated by Daga, they had a three-way match for that title between Black Taurus, who's wrestling in Impact right now, Octagon, and a mystery opponent who wound up being Villano 3 Jr.
Really?
So I don't know if you all know about the Villanos, but there are actually 5 original Villanos. And they are all brothers, and they all have children that became Villanos as well. So this is Villano 3 Jr. and Black Taurus, like I said, who is in Impact and is part of Decay with Rosemary and Crazy Steve, actually won that title. So he is now the new Latin American heavyweight champion. Now, here comes the craziness. Okay, I left the last 2 for the craziness, because these are the things that need to be discussed, because some of these things are kind of okay, interesting, but then the other one is kind of bullshit. So, would you like the interesting, or would you like the bullshit first?
I'd say let's take the fecal matter, so that way we can clean it up with the interesting. Okay.
So the AAA Cruiserweight Championship was the number one. There was a 4-way match for the number 1 contendership. Now the winner of it was a masked wrestler by the name of Latigo, who after the match was approached by Laredo Kid, who challenged Latigo to a match for the AAA Cruiserweight Championship.
Oh boy.
Now, the bullshit about this is that a few weeks ago, I mentioned to you all that Laredo Kid was in a match with Leo Rush in a title versus title match for the AAA Cruiserweight Championship and the MLW Middleweight Championship, of which Leo Rush wound up winning.
Right.
Now, the story is that AAA does not recognize that win by Leo Rush and is still considering Laredo Kid as their Cruiserweight champion. Now, Now, being that this was on now the story that they're giving in AAA is that there was a non-televised match with Laredo Kid and Daga, where he wound up winning back the championship. Now, Gaga did not have this championship.
Right.
He had the Latin American championship. He didn't have the Cruiserweight championship. So, but that's the story that they're telling in AAA. Now, in MLW, you've got them saying that Laredo Kid is disputing his win because he's saying that while he had Leo Rush in a leg lock, that Leo Rush tapped out. Now, the rules for a tap out in MLW, as they stated, was that you had to have at least 3 taps on one hand on the mat or a body part of the person that has you in that hold.
Right.
And the 3 taps have to be consistent on the same hand. Now, Leo Rush in the tape that they showed, tap, 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 like a swimming move.
Right.
So they're saying that Laredo Kid apparently, or as the storyline is going, is saying that he actually tapped out and he didn't lose the match to Leo Rush. So Leo Rush hasn't been seen with the belt since he won it, other than a couple of promos that he did. But they're saying that Laredo Kid wound up getting his own belt made and is actually going around wrestling as the AAA Cruiserweight Champion. So I don't know how Leo Rush feels about this. I don't know how they're going to do it.
We'll find out.
They most likely will do a rematch between the two where Laredo Kid winds up winning and getting the title back so they can kind of get out of the situation as far as MLW is concerned. But yeah, AAA was like, fuck that. No, Leo Rush is not our champion. So I just wanted to let y'all know that y'all boys being hated on in Mexico.
We need to figure out what the reasoning behind that is. That could be go a couple ways. We'll just put it out at that. But go ahead and tell us the crazy.
Now, the crazy is that at the end of the AAA Rey Del Rey's pay-per-view, you had an appearance by Andrade. Now, Andrade goes on to state that not only does he's put out a list of wrestlers that he wants to wrestle, kind of like what Cody did when he got out of the WWE. He has his own. Andrade has his own list. One of the people on this list is Psycho Clown, which I said earlier was like their number one guy in AAA right now. You know, he's like their John Cena. Mm-hmm. So he actually challenged him to a match, but he also challenged Kenny Omega for the AAA Mega Championship that he holds and wants to have a match with him at Triple Mania sometime this summer.
Oh my gosh.
So now it's interesting because right before this happened, there's some YouTube videos that came out that included Roosh from Ring of Honor. And in the captions that they have where they had Andrade up under his name, it said LFI. Las Facciones Ingobernables. So there may be the fact that he has actually joined up with Roosh and has become a member of LFI, which means he may be going to Ring of Honor at some point and wrestling for them, because that's where La Facciones Ingobernables is.
So he's like, so it sounds like the pseudo blacklist is over for Andrade.
And well, it's not necessarily a blacklist because he can't be on any kind of blacklist because he's got a lot of guys that are coming after him looking for them to be on their card. Like
he's on the blacklist of you can't do anything right now, which I'm kind of interested in. He's somehow circumventing the non-compete. Out of everybody,
no. He got out of WWE without a non-compete.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't have a non-compete when he got out. No, he did not have a he did not have a non-compete when he got out. So yes, he was
because I was wondering
he's free and clear.
He was able to do things that nobody else was able to do. So I mean, hell, he got the best end of the stick then.
Oh yeah, no doubt at all, no doubt about that at all. So yes, when these videos came out, like I said, he had a whole bunch of folks on his list that he wanted to wrestle, and he's already called out 2 of them. Now he also, like I said before, like I said last week, I was talking about the Faction Wrestling organization that Alberto Del Rio and Chavo Guerrero Jr. had, and right. that Andrade was supposed to be having a match for them with Alberto Del Rio on July 31st. Well, it's also come out that they're going to have their first show on June the 19th. And they've already got a match card for that, which is Dragon Lee and Bandito versus the Lucha Brothers. You've got, and I want you to listen to this card and see what and listen close to this card. I'm just giving you the whole card. Dragon Lee versus Bandito against the Lucha Brothers. You got Tai Conte, Akiyako Hamada, who is the former Reina del Reyes champion, and a mystery partner versus Red Velvet, Miranda Alizé, and Zeuxis, which is CML. She's from CML. There's going to be a 20-person battle royal, a 3-way match with Rey Horus, Flamita, and a mystery opponent. And then the main event is supposed to be Andrade, Rush, Bestia del Ring, and a mystery partner versus PJ Black, Matt Taven, and 2 other mystery partners. Now, KG, if that's not a super show for you starting out, I don't know what is, because that's AAA, AEW, Ring of Honor, CMLL, and Impact involved in this match card. Okay. And there's already some backlash on this match card because Ring of Honor just got word that CMLL has cut ties with them because of the Ring of Honor folks dealing with them. So CMLL says they don't want nothing to do with this. So they've cut off their ties with Ring of Honor for having wrestlers that's involved in this match card. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff going on as far as Mexican wrestling and different organizations within the United States, especially when it's having to do with Andrade. So,
well, they're operating off the strength of Chavo. Period. That's the only reason why it's a success. KG, go ahead, man.
When can I expect my check? Is what I would like to know.
Well, sounds like you need to talk to Alberto Del Rio and Chavo Guerrero. And if you know what I know, don't hold your breath.
Hey, I got a motto, and I don't care who you are. You can be the president, you can be the vice president. I don't care who you are. When it comes down to getting paid, nobody wants to be stiffed on getting paid, especially for an idea that you've had for the last 2.5, 3 years. And I've told my boss this. I've told family this. You owe me money? Pay me or pay the Undertaker? Which one you rather do?
Well, Undertaker got enough money, so he's good.
I don't mean that Undertaker. That's not the Undertaker I mean. Pay me or pay the Undertaker. Which one you want to do?
I don't know. I double down on the fact that as they're about to pay the Undertaker, here comes Kane. But I just want to put out there that, the comments that are posted throughout our different social media platforms are not sponsored by Cat9 Cables. Cat9 Cables, which are great, If you need to improve the speed of your gaming or internet, get you a Cat9 cable that does not sponsor the Sideline Junkies and the Wrestlemaniacs. Just wanted to put that out there. Speaking of putting out there, hopefully this comes across because I want to get you guys' opinion on this. It's not a sponsorship deal. This is, hold on, it's weird. There we go. This was put up today by the developers of WWE Champions, the mobile game. Let me see. There we go. Is that better? You guys see that? So who's that in the picture?
That's Rocky Johnson, is it not?
Yep. So their new mode or feature is called the Black Market. And the first thing that you post out there saying we're going to be talking in about 2 hours, this was earlier today, about our new promotion is this image. So what do you guys think about that? James, I'll let you go first.
Well, not being a gaming guy, I mean, I could look at it negatively. Why are you gonna call it the black market and then have Sweet Ebony Diamond on there? I mean, you know,
that was my take. I don't understand it. Not saying that I feel ill in a different way, but that's the equivalent of saying that, in my opinion, if I just wanted to be equally insensitive from an advertiser perspective, is their new mode is going to be called Salty, and it's going to have a picture of Ric Flair. Like, well,
now let me ask you this. To make it even worse, is this like one of those games where you pick up like game trading cards, or you draft guys? Oh, so it's called the black market because you're buying slaves to work for you, and you want to put Rocky Johnson on the cover as your big stud, your big buck that you want to advertise and say, yeah. If you want to play this game, you can get this guy right here.
I saw you stop yourself. Good job, sir. Because it was about to come out, wasn't it? See how freely he almost transitioned to something else. But yeah, I saw that. Normally I don't message on those Facebook things, but I had to reply to that one because I was like, I don't understand how somebody did not realize that was inappropriate.
No, you got a whole bunch of white dudes in a room that don't know better.
No, they know better.
No, they don't. They weren't thinking about it. They weren't thinking. That's something they weren't think that didn't come to their head.
They can't say plausible deniability. You can't, because in the name is the color designation of the person whose image you put. 2 + 2 is always going to equal 4, period. And pretty much
golly gee willikers, we have a game that's called the black market. Let's put a black guy up. Yeah. That's what we'll do.
I mean, at least put some groceries in his hand, then they can kind of be diffused a little bit. So, or a laptop. But I just wanted KG. I know you. What was your thoughts? I know you saw when I replied to it on Facebook. But yeah,
there is no saving that. You can't dress it up. You can't shape it up. You can't do anything. There is no saving that. That should have never came out. That should have never happened.
Not at all. Not at all. So. That decision was sponsored by Y'all Some Dumbasses. They do sponsor thoughts and opinions by the Sideline Junkies and the Wrestlemaniacs from time to time because that's apropos Y'all Some Dumbasses. So hopefully they clean that up because I'm damn sure not going back to the game now to play. And I was playing it from day one. As soon as it went live, I downloaded it and started putting that work in. But yeah, can't do it. Not like that. Now, if you say it's the free black market, so you give me all the black people for free, maybe I'll log in. But
that doesn't help it.
Free. They're being free.
No,
and then the GM is Harriet Tubman. So I mean, you have all kind of interesting things you can do with that.
How come it can't be the white market?
Well,
No, you didn't just say that.
How come it can't be the white market?
So you're gonna say, okay, go ahead and get black people from Trader Joe's? Is that what you're saying?
Whatever, man.
Can we move on?
We can move on from this.
Let's move
We're
on.
gonna move on to outside of the fact that Fox told them they have to do it. What I would consider truly, sad to say, a pointless gimmick show being Throwback Smackdown. So with it being called Throwback Smackdown, it's not in comparison to any of the other Raw or SmackDown Goes Retros that we've ever seen. I mean, you guys talk about it, because the only highlights to me of just the ambiance of it was, really, Teddy Long. Everything else we've seen before. So, the clips, great seeing before, and seeing Eddie Guerrero one more time. So I give him two things. But other than that, I mean, we've seen all those clips. We've lived through it. But what was you guys' thoughts? Throwback SmackDown, and the only reason why they were throwing it back is because Darlington's race for NASCAR is doing a throwback. So Fox said, you got no choice.
First of all, that Darlington race is not a throwback to the cars, it's a throwback to the paint jobs. They will not bring those cars back. So that's them calling it a throwback for that is bullshit. Second of all, I was about to turn that bad boy off because they said so. I heard them and I misheard them. They said something about the main event being the Rock, that Triple H and Rock match. I thought they were saying that they were going to show that as the main event, and I was going to turn it off because I'm like, no, this no. And then and KG can relate to what I'm about to say. That Cesaro pulling out that Rock dull shooter that he put up, that he puts on. It ain't nothing sharp about it. It's a dull shooter. It's about as dull as a flat pencil, as a broken lead pencil.
Has seen his crossface?
No, not the crossface.
No, I'm saying it's as dull. In retrospect, I'm saying in comparison.
Oh yeah. That crossface with
this much space between and your neck.
You can put somebody else's head in the space that he leaves in that damn thing. But when I saw okay, because Cesaro uses the sharpshooter, so I'm like, okay, he about to put a sharpshooter on him. But then I was like, wait a minute, his feet are together. He's throwing back to the Rock. This guy, what the hell? The first time I saw the Rock do the sharpshooter, I was upset. I was mad. I was like, what are you doing? You didn't even put it on right.
Yep.
And then Cesaro, because Cesaro was pretty much the only one that did a throwback to throw a shout out to anybody, really, in the whole show. So I mean, I give him that for making the attempt, but give somebody the Rock bottom, or give the people's elbow or something. That dull shooter. No.
All right, so KG, what was your thoughts? Because I believe no, you weren't working there then. The night that Booker T and Stone Cold did the super duper famous, I can't even call it the super duper famous, a supermarket match, for lack of a better term. This is when, well, there's no kayfabe anymore, when WWE would pre-record stuff. So they would send it up to the bird and satellite, and then somehow, some way, through clever production techniques, we were able to get that feed. So we were watching the uncut versions of SmackDown before it got edited, and we got to watch that match and all its entirety and every scene that they showed and did not show. So I was like, man, that was awesome. But you weren't there, man, because otherwise I know you'd have been right there with me in production at about 12 midnight, sitting there like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh man, I can't wait for everybody to see this on SmackDown. But Needless to say, what was your thoughts? Because I know you're a big SmackDown fan from the show all the way up to the games. So throwing it back, was it worth it? Could they have just
No,
done a show?
no. You could have did a regular show.
They did a regular show.
Yeah, that's what you could. You didn't have to name it anything. But here's my thing. Number one, James, you're a hater. The
Yes.
Rock sharpshooter. The
To my
Rock
heart. To
sharpshooter
my heart.
was excellent.
No.
It made mankind quit. Let's not even go there.
Hey,
So-
they told him to do the job, and he did it. That has nothing to do with the fact that he got the ugliest sharpshooter that has ever been created.
He knew the assignment. So stop hating. That's number one. Number two, if they decided to show now, which Rock versus Triple H match would you show as a main event? Would you show very first SmackDown, Rock versus Triple H with Shawn Michaels as special guest referee? Now,
That's
if you
the
would
one they
show
did the
that
clip
as a main
for.
event- Oh my!
That's the one they showed the clip for.
Let me tell you something. That match right there, I watched it live. Well, it wasn't live. It was recorded Tuesday. I watched it Thursday, but I watched it, and I was on the edge of my seat because I was like, okay, Triple H just won. He pretty much, that was when his first title reign. Now, if you remember, triple threat, Mankind wins on Sunday. He breaks JR's arm on Monday. Mankind says, I'm not giving you a title match. Shane says, oh, yes, you are. He wins the title. So that Thursday, he's, sporting the belt and shit. And him and Michaels are going back and forth. Michael says he's going to be the special guest referee. The Rock says, how about The Rock takes off his $1,300 loafers, his $600 shirt, come down and whoop your ass. But that super kick at the end broke my 18-year-old heart. I dropped down to my knees and I was 17 at that time. I dropped down to my knees. That wasn't the SmackDown that we knew. That was the SmackDown special. If I'm not mistaken. Nope, that was the very first SmackDown.
Yeah,
that was the first official SmackDown.
Yeah, that was the first SmackDown, yeah.
Yeah, because remember you had the SmackDown special.
Right.
That was just a one-time special. Right. And that's when you had Jim Cornette, and that's when the big show for me, and he drop kick chest, and I had never seen a human being that big drop kick somebody.
And you never will again.
Pretty much. But I would have took that. I would have took that last night and said, hey, give it here. I'll take that. This is awesome.
Well, I would have took it if they would have had Triple H comment over top of the match while it was happening. And maybe him and Shawn talking about if you couldn't get The Rock. If you could get The Rock, just Skype in, doesn't have to be there. That'd be even more awesome. So you have the three people that was involved talking about the match as it was happening. That would be something worth watching. It's still original programming, but at the same time, just to get the in-ring perspective of that match, because you got to remember, it's The Rock show, first episode, the way they was promoting it, The Rock was doing everything. I mean, everybody knew that The Rock was going to win the belt that night.
Now, I'm not saying that I wouldn't have watched the match. I just don't want it as a main event. There's too much going on in SmackDown for it to not for that to be the main event. If it had been like maybe if that would have gone, that could have started the second hour, and I'd have been happy with that. But for that to be the main event, no, I would have changed the channel on that.
I would have ended TV with it, but it could have been the main event. So you could have still saved 10 minutes for the Roman special, what we could call it right now, because Lord knows that was the best part for the wrestling part of it, in my opinion, was the Roman Reigns, Jimmy J, Uso saga, as we've been waiting for it to start to happen in this way. So, that was the best part, in my opinion, other than Folgers in your cup. KG?
I was going to say something else about the best part of waking up, but I'm going to leave that alone. But did anybody else look?
Don't You know what happens? You know what happens when somebody says something that could get us Me Too? You know what happens?
I left it alone. I said I left it alone. But did anybody look at that and you thought that they was gonna break out in the whole Too Cool dance?
No.
No,
That'd
I
have been a
never
hell of a
thought that.
throwback.
I would never
It
thought
was.
of that. No.
I'll find a screenshot of the moment that could have happened.
So just to kind of go off the rails of the production notes, if you had to, James, book the ending of this storyline, how would you wrap this up between the Usos proper and Roman?
How to end it, period?
Well,
or how to move it forward?
No, how to end it. Because I mean, we know they've probably got, truthfully, in my opinion, maybe 4 months, maybe 5 months, just to be generous, of storyline potential. So that's maybe 3 pay-per-views worth of opportunity before you wrap it. If they had to stretch it out, they could, take it all the way to Survivor Series. But I don't think it just go that far. Could have some money in the bank implications at some point, possibly as well. But how would you end it? If you just had to end it whenever down the road, however you want to book it, if you were the guy, if you will, where would you put it?
I'd have a match between Jimmy and Roman for over Jay. So if Jimmy Uso loses, he has to acknowledge Roman Reigns. If he wins, then Jay is released and they go on to win the tag team championships together, apart from Roman.
Okay. What about you, KG?
I would have the Usos turn on Roman. Super kick party, baby. That's the end right there. Leave him a mess in the ring. And then, because I'm waiting, I need to see the Usos versus Street Profits. That's what I need in my life. Usos versus Street Profits with Naomi in their corner and the Usos corner and Bianca Belair in the Street Profits corner. That's what I want. That's what I'm dying for. End this bullshit and let's go. Leave him bloody in the ring and do whatever. Do with him whatever you like.
All right, I'd end it with a family affair 2.0. So COVID is naturally a little bit better. So you would have all the NOI clan there in the seats. And it would be a fatal 4-way. Roman versus Jimmy versus Seth Rollins. And we could throw in somebody else because who knows? Probably by that point, brand extension, may have happened. So, we could throw AJ Styles or
Kevin Owens,
whoever the biggest faces at that time that everybody's pulling for. Hell, it could be Daniel Bryan, for all I care.
Daniel Bryan's contract is up.
Well, he's out for SmackDown. I mean, he could come back. I know he's done, but I mean, he could come back but go on Raw, is what I'm saying. If he wanted to, it's up to him.
His contract is up unless they renew his contract.
That's what I'm saying. But we're talking about fictitiously. I mean, he could come back and decide, okay, I'll wrestle, but I can't go to SmackDown, so I'll just go to Raw. So he's still, because all he said was he's done with SmackDown, not done with WWE storyline wise. So he could go to Raw by choice as one of those, draft picks that, just shows up. You know how they do it. They just put somebody on it just to put on there. But like I said, whoever the biggest
he's going to Ring of Honor.
Actually, you know what? Take that back. Put The Rock in it. So The Rock, Jimmy, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. And the finish of the match is Seth is out because we know Seth's not going to win. It could be we could do elimination, or you could just do somehow Seth Rollins gets pushed to the table, whatever. He's not a factor. And then you have the 3 standing there, and Jay comes up on the apron, and then next thing you know, pow, super kick to the Rock. Both Usos. And then the swerve is that you have them tell Roman to go ahead and pin the Rock. And that's how I finish it. And then you would start the dynasty. And keep in mind, the family is there. So then you would actually have Nia, Tamina come out and join them as well. So they would be a full-on faction at that point. I don't know what they would call themselves, but, you know.
You got a lot of cross branding going on there, buddy.
If you do it at Survivor Series, then, you know, your Monday after Survivor Series could be Roman sitting at the head of the table. So that
you got a lot of cross branding going on there, bro.
Well, we haven't had the brand extension / draft yet. So I mean, you know, if we're talking all the way down to November, anybody could be anywhere at that point. Plus, Survivor Series is one of the few times a year when all brands are present. Just by nature of, you know, Raw versus SmackDown on the traditional Survivor Series matches. So they're going to be there anyway. And, you know, according to current storylines, it's possible. But that's my finish. So just, you know, something off to the side to think about. But since we talked about pointless throwback, my next question to UKG, and I'll let you answer this one solo. Is Raw on a decline?
Raw has been on
last week, and
Raw has been in a decline for years. This is nothing new. Raw used to be the Big Brother show, the one that did the numbers, because you got amped up for Raw, especially after a pay-per-view. Raw was always great after a pay-per-view, but they don't even bring the lumber anymore after a pay-per-view. It's like, we Raw, hey. But SmackDown, on the other hand, SmackDown is like, hey, we SmackDown. You waited all week for us. NXT brings it hard. Raw, for lack of a better term, Raw's the bitch show now. Numbers don't lie. Men and women do, but numbers don't.
Remember when people used to say, well, why is Monday so hot? It's because you ran out of fingers on your hand counting how many big match superstars were on the show. That was the glory, besides the attitude part of it, of the Attitude Era, is there was that many heavy hitters that was just on the show all at one time, growing, developing, cross storyline, and I mean, there's just so much going on. You were just literally entertained from bell to bell live, and the only time you was like, is when you know it was going to commercial break. So you had those rest moments in the match, but then, you know, when you saw that red light come back on the hard camera, you know something was about to pop off. What's up, BJ? The boss is here. But now, SmackDown thankfully had Roman Reigns and Teddy Long. Raw this week, yeah. I mean,
that was a hard show to watch.
Eva Marie was probably the best thing. I was disappointed, and I'm a Charlotte fan, but that match, I don't know if she's getting used to her new, how would Jim Ross put it? Her new lean physique.
She's had that lean physique since she got back from her pregnancy. So, yeah.
I mean, she moves differently, and it seems like she has
what?
Yeah.
What?
Remember when she was out for all that time?
Allegedly.
There was a rumor that she was pregnant. That's the reason why she left.
And then they said she had COVID.
Then they said she had COVID, and then they said something about she needed time off, and there was all kinds of rumors going on about why she was out for so long. And then when she came out, she left the twins home.
Yeah, at least half the twins. So we see the boss just posed a picture. A picture. We see a picture of his question: what can Raw do with the talent to get the people back? And we've talked about it many times on this show. They need to redo the rosters randomly. No storyline scripted and try to kayfabe us when we know there's no kayfabe really and say, oh, SmackDown has drafted this person. You put that person there. Do the real spin it and pull a name and let the chips fall where they may. You'd be surprised on how the writers would have to produce content if they're having to produce it for just who knows when. That night, yeah, everything is booked for the night that it's happening, but you do it in one night on Raw, 3-hour show. SmackDown is what it is, and you include Raw, SmackDown, and NXT time. Now, I know that's going to be a little controversial for those that think NXT is the farm league or the C show, but pay-per-view wise, NXT has been out producing the majors every single time.
Right now, it's SmackDown, NXT, Raw. Right now. So yeah,
you shake it up and let it be. If you're going to be with this company, every brand matters, and where you go is where you go, and you produce. So we could have Roman Reigns versus Cameron Grimes, which with his manager being the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. I'd watch that. We could have Dexter Lumis versus Kevin Owens. You could do multiple things. The women's division would be through the roof because you've got a lot more women that are wrestling in NXT than we really see on Raw and SmackDown. Because on Raw and SmackDown, it's the same two. Most of those, same four. Most of the two is Nia and Shayna. So the other two are just interchangeable. That's pretty much how it is. Then you may have a little spot. Oh, there's Charlotte versus, I don't know, the same two, being Rhea Ripley and Asuka. Other than that, everything's interchangeable. You just sub Charlotte with who she's facing, and then you sub whoever's going for the tag titles. That's how they're treating the women on Raw and SmackDown because there's no Becky Lynch for somebody to just drive it home. And all the talk and stuff that we've heard from Stephanie, we're not seeing anything of her pulling her weight. If I see her, no disrespect, as we know, I'm a fan of Stephanie. But for all that we see her winning awards and being, this and that, the most important award that she needs to really pull up is being the champion for the women in her own company. Period. They should have, like Mick Foley said, I think Cesaro agreed, or was it Lance Storm, I believe, agreed that the women should have their own show, even if it's an hour. Because let's be honest, show of hands, who the hell's watching 205 Live?
Let me move my hand out of the way because I damn sure ain't.
Who forgets that it's actually still being produced? Who still thinks that,
I tried to watch 205. I'll tell you what happened with me with 205 Live. When they got rid of Enzo Amore. As soon as they got rid of Enzo Amore, that show went downhill like a rock and like a brick in water.
Yep. And they tried to put it on other people, but it went extra worse when it got confusing, in my opinion, because I'm watching NXT, but they're calling the 205 Live, aka the Cruiserweight Champion, as the NXT Cruiserweight Champion. So I'm like, wait a minute, it's the same belt as on NXT, but I thought you were saying that 205 Live is separate and you're still taping that, and that's what's happening over there. So who the hell's a champion of what? So it becomes confusing, and then they don't really talk about it. Then you have a commercial, 205 Live, like, why? Just put it on NXT and call it a day. That hour is being taken up by, the women could have that hour. And you could have something that AEW doesn't have, which is taking advantage of the depth that you have in the women's division, because AEW is still figuring it out. They've got talent out the wazoo that would make a great 1 hour women's show. They just haven't figured that part out yet.
I don't know why they didn't keep the cruiserweight division in NXT UK. because they have a whole lot of guys in NXT UK that would be cruiserweight.
Everybody in the UK is a cruiserweight.
Right. So I would instead of having a match. Well, they could have still had the match for the NXT UK Championship with Santos Escobar and Jordan Devlin,
right?
Because that match needed to happen to determine who was going to be that champion. But they still could have kept the Cruiserweight Championship in NXT UK because they need another belt. I'm the one who says that there are too many belts in WWE right now, but they do need a secondary belt in NXT UK.
Well, so I agree.
Wait.
Second women's tag championship to separate it, one for Raw, one for SmackDown, to give more women an opportunity to wrestle.
Now, I already said I don't agree with them having the NXT women's tag title. I don't agree with that. And if they do have that title, they need to go over to NXT UK and defend that too. But I like the fact that the women's championship, the women's tag championship, was going to NXT. I like that because it brought WWE talent, main card talent, to NXT. So I like that. So
I'm with you, but NXT didn't need the main card talent.
They didn't. They don't need the main card talent.
But they have more women there.
But it brings to light the women in the NXT women's division, and eventually a winner from that goes to Raw or SmackDown and builds up those women's divisions.
Well, James, truth be told, the biggest light that NXT has had shown on it to date is the current SmackDown Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. Rhea, but Bianca, that's NXT. You can't deny 100% NXT.
And I know for everybody watching, I know I sound like I'm contradicting myself. I probably am.
Probably.
But, I'm just saying.
James's contradiction is sponsored by fork and knife and plastic that you get from who were sponsored by Chick-fil-A.
See, that's why you were distorted and whatnot. Nobody heard that. So, yeah, you don't need to repeat it.
All I'm saying is James is 100% sponsored by Salty. That's about right there. So he's always salty and a salt package.
Time out. 20-second timeout.
We got a flag on the play?
You say we don't need more belts, but I have to disagree with you because you have the women, this large women's roster, and I agree that the women need to get more time. I'll get into that in a second. But these women need another belt to go out. They don't have a secondary championship. You got Raw Women's Championship, SmackDown Women's Championship. What's underneath of that to go after? Because, granted, yes, this is new. This is not the same old territorial wrestling where you put the United States Championship, you put the TV title, you put the Intercontinental Championship on a wrestler to see if they can carry the mantle to groom them to be champion. But you have to do something for the ladies because the ladies don't have a U.S. title. Unless you're going to let them start competing for the U.S. title and Intercontinental title again. They don't have that title. So I think the ladies need possibly a TV title that can be defended on SmackDown, Raw, or NXT. And that'll be your secondary championship.
But that was what the NXT titles were meant for. That was their original concept. That the NXT champion or the NXT women's champion was supposed to be able to use that title to go after the Intercontinental belt or the U.S. belt, or in this case, or in the women's case, go after the women's titles. That's what the original concept of the NXT belts were for.
Yeah, but how long ago was that concept? That's the problem.
At the beginning. That was from the beginning.
That concept became defunct when they doubled down and got the Fox deal, because Fox put on some conditions on how they wanted their product on their network to be shown, which caused the conditions to roll over to Raw. Because truthfully, to me, it seems like, I'm not saying I'm in the boardrooms and stuff like that, USA is pretty much like, you've been here forever. You do great numbers advertising wise. I know people talk about demographics, blah, blah, blah. Really, it comes down from network to how much are the sponsor paying for whatever 5-minute ad that they're putting during your show. And if they're paying the buku money because they know, people are watching, then you're good. That's really what it comes down to, is how much money is the network making for the duration of your show when it comes down to ad buys. If nobody's paying for it, you're getting canceled. But if people are still paying, then your product is your product. And USA and WWE, they've been in bed long enough to know we got you covered. We may be low this time, but we're gonna make it up at this time. We'll do something special, blah blah blah. But Fox is like, no, we want it like this. We paid you this much money to have the product here, and it's the time slot, and we want to make sure that we have a say in exactly what's being produced on our network because we said so. If not, you're at a crunch anyway. You have to go somewhere, so you can go ahead and try to find somebody, or you can do what we tell you to do, and that's the way it works. And now on Peacock, they also said, well, we're going to go ahead and edit your product. So we have our own standard practices, and most of the Attitude Era does not fall into our S&P. So we're just going to cut that content out. Y'all go ahead and get started and cut it for us if you want. But if it's going to be aired on Peacock, people aren't going to see the Attitude in the Attitude Era at the extent. So we'll never see a hand being delivered, half of the Ministry of Darkness and stuff you're not going to see because people these days are a little too, we're not going to see the Nation of Domination versus DX and all the jokes and stuff that they went back and forth. Yeah, now looking at it, it's like, okay, the Croc, you have to kind of have a little bit of a darker blackface there, Triple H. But I mean,
Well, speaking of content that we won't be able to see, we also won't be able to see the segment with the home invasion of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Brian Pillman, which I want to bring up the Dark Side of the Ring that they just had this past Thursday. Did you all get to see the Brian Pillman story on Dark Side of the Ring premiere?
No, unfortunately, not to lie to you. I was watching the Dark Side of Elliot Stabler. So my Thursday was kind of caught up by the gong gong.
You need to check that out because I mean that was one of their better productions. That one right there was done very well. That made me think that I'm wondering why they haven't been nominated for an Emmy yet, because those Dark Side of the Ring shows are very, very well done. And I mean, in watching it, you had the main focus that they had was on Brian Pillman's sister, who gave a lot of insight as far as Brian and his growing up and things that happened that during the car accident and just during his life and whatnot that they broke down. It was very well. It was very, very well done. And you need anybody that hasn't watched it yet needs to try to find that and watch it, because I'm sure they'll be showing it again next week, probably before the Dark Side of the Ring for this week coming. So you need to take the time to look at that, and it's giving you a lot of insight as to things that, I mean, they give you the basic story, but they go even deeper into the story and give you things that you may not have known about his story. Now, the only thing that I didn't kind of like about it was the fact that they went through a lot of things in his career, but they didn't even touch on the Hart Foundation and his involvement in the Hart Foundation. So, but I was wondering about that. I was wondering why they didn't. But
that's a tree you don't want to bark up without that lawsuit. They don't want to encounter that. They know. So it sounds like they're smart enough to know we just going to not cross that bridge, because that's a lineage that we may not want to touch. But I'm quite sure they put an inquiry out there in the feeler, say, hey, are we allowed to? And it was probably came down no, because I mean he was so intertwined in all that could have just brought up bad memories, and rehashing Owen and stuff like that. So maybe out of respect.
Well, they had an Owen show, and so in season 2 they had an Owen show.
Yeah,
which
but
is really good.
Which is good also. But I mean, yeah. So yeah. I mean, I don't know why they didn't bring up his involvement in the Hart Foundation, because I mean, even bringing in the classic picture of him sitting at commentary with all the belts. You know, if they'd had that one picture, that would have taken care of everything for the Hart Foundation, as far as I'm concerned. But
yeah.
But yeah, the picture that was drawn of them peeing on the flag and everything, that type thing. So I mean, for them to not show the Hart Foundation was kind of disappointing to me. But like I said, it was a very, very well done. And I'm looking forward to the next one. I don't know what the next one's going to be for this Thursday, but I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Okay. Oh, good. Good lookout on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the last segment, which to me, I think is going to be a lot of fun because I'm interested to see and what the responses are going to be to this. And since it's Mother's Day, I figured why not have a little fun and ask these two fine young gentlemen a big old Mother's Day question. And that being, if you could have any female superstar, period, just any, it's wide open, to be your mom, who would that be? So for me, the only person, as soon as I pose the question to myself, would be
Sheldon Benjamin's mama.
Thea Vidal, no, because I do like the show. Shout out to Thea Vidal. And then also, also a shout out to Ernest Cat Miller's mama, wherever she is, because somebody should have called her. But my mom would have to be Mae Young, just because I could look at him like, Mama, can I take the bump? What the hell are you asking me for? Get your ass up there and get thrown through the table. Yes, ma'am. And I'm going to take the bump. And like, you better do it good, too. Don't you come here and take that. Well, I can't say that word. That begins with a P. But that type of bump, you better go ahead and take it like you mean it. Yes, ma'am. And then after that, you take your little brother's hand and smack out the person that you're wrestling. Like, come on, little bro. Just holding a hand into the ring. Oh, man. I would have a hand versus little Jimmy match. That'd be awesome. But that's who my mama would be me. So, KG, who's your mama?
Well, I'm a little torn. I had a 3-way tie, and I thought about this. I said, Sapphire, because everybody loves my mama.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it. I was like, yeah, everybody loves my mama, but I would have to say it's a tie between Sapphire and China, because I've seen my mama whoop dude's ass. So.
But that means I've also seen your mama for one night. So I don't know how I can. Man, I can't think about your mama like that. You're like, I'm gonna have to come over your house every day. But like, Miss China, can I have some more juice?
Mind your tongue or have it cut from your head.
Like, man, why you keep looking at my mom's?
But then also,
I saw on the video. True.
I'm gonna go ahead and move on, but my third one was Bianca Belair, because just
no, that can't be your mama. No.
The rise of and the work that she puts in and how dedicated she is to her craft. My mom's dedicated like that. I said that's a trifecta of my mom right there. Everybody loves her. My mom can kick a dude's ass, and then she puts in that work. So,
and when you're bad, she gonna whoop you behind with her hair,
with a braid.
Yeah, she ain't even got to get a belt. She ain't got to get a belt or a switch for you. She got that braid.
That's it.
No, mama, I won't do it no more, mama.
And you see what she did to, and you know what she did. You see what she did to Sasha.
Yeah,
so she knows what she gonna do to you.
Knocked her right out the company. One whip, no nay. That's all it was. So James.
Yeah, even Bobby. What was his name? The Dirty Dogs. Bobby
Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode even caught one this week, last week.
Like, don't you get that? You hear that cracking? God dang! Woo!
And it ain't even a sound effect. It's just her.
Yep,
that's her.
I couldn't even roll back because under normal circumstances I'd be like, man, I got to see that spot again. I'd have watched Mick Foley get thrown off the cage who knows how many times, and just the sound of the that's how it sounds every single time. It's like, man, that's crazy. But when Bianca went, oh my God, I can only hear that once. That's like Game of Thrones. By the time you get done with the series, I can only watch that one time because I can't emotionally go through the Red Wedding and all that other stuff again. It's like, even knowing it's going to happen, it's like, that's messed up. But can I go on a tangent real quick about Game of Thrones? Have you guys seen the show?
Never. You muted.
Oh, my bad. Of course I have. You do know my daughter's name, right?
So KG, this will be more to you, and you can let me know if I'm off base or not.
Well, for the audience, KG, let the audience know what your daughter's name is.
This one right here. Come on. This is the queen. Why does she call it the queen? Because she's named after two queens. Her name is Akasha Khaleesi.
Mother Dragons.
Yes, that's her.
Dragons.
That is your nickname. Get out of here. Okay, Alexandra. If that's you say, she says her nickname is Alexandra. Uncle BJ saying hi, baby.
So, KG, since you've seen it, here's my true opinion of Game of Thrones. That whole show is about one little kid who didn't do what his mama said and effed it up for the entire family. Bran Stark was told, don't you climb up on nothing. Okay, Mom, I won't. He climbs up on something, sees something he's not supposed to see, and now his daddy dead, his mama dead, his brother's dead, half the North is dead, the winter has came. It's like, wait a minute. And all he get to do is show forward is, I'm the three-eyed raven in the wheelchair. So wait a minute. Oh, and he's also the reason why my favorite character can only say one word. Hold the doors. Like, really? Really? So Bran jacked up the entire lineage of everybody because he didn't listen to his mom. That's Game of Thrones to me just summed up. Everybody else is just playing a role because if he would have done that, Ned Stark would have been King of the North. The Targaryens would have still went after the Lannisters, but Ned would have been up in the North. We may not even have to worry about the Mother Dragons potentially and all that stuff and Khal Drogo, blah, 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 because you got a unified Westeros, and that's it. But nope, one little badass kid doing what he's not supposed to do. So you tell me, KG, I mean, am I off base?
Well, hold on. I had to call an expert in. So, because I'm new to it, because I had to go back and rewatch it. So I'm calling the expert in real quick. So she come around this daggone corner. Where's she at? So the thing on the table now is that Game of Thrones is just a show about a little kid who didn't do what his mama told him.
Episode 1.
Episode 1.
Bran Stark was told not to climb anything and to be good and play where he was supposed to play.
Bran Stark was told not to climb anything, be good, and he climbed everything, seen some shit he wasn't supposed to see, and he got everybody fucked up. That's the basis of the show, and then he turned into the three-eyed raven.
No, you can't. It's not cut and dry like that. It's not black and white like that. It's a lot of stuff that happened between him falling out, being pushed out the tower, and him becoming the three-eyed raven.
Yeah, but if he wouldn't have been on the tower,
happened, so
he would be alive.
So Don said if he would have listened, his daddy wouldn't have died.
His father was going to die regardless, whether he listened or not. The minute that he decided to go to King's Landing, it was over.
But
he was ready to.
Ned Stark was torn because
See,
he
you read
didn't
the
want to be there because he lost his son. Because that whole thing about the Lannisters and all that, and Ned, that's all that was. They tried to kill my son. Now you want me to be the hand of the king? We're gonna have to talk offline about that.
Yeah, that's what I don't know if you want to go do battle with it, Don. I don't know.
We can do some battle.
Jones battle?
Yeah, because he like, nah, this is with me. Woo. Hey, look, that's a podcast in itself. I would take money for that.
We can go there.
That's the next verses.
Hey, that would be a vicious verses right there. Hey, look, I'll DJ that verses.
Oh my God. There'll be one song, the theme song for the entire time.
Just loop it. Just keep looping it.
Little pop-up books just popping up stuff out of nowhere.
Oh my God.
Bringing it back home to James. You've had plenty of time if you haven't thought about who you want your mama to be.
Well, I'm like KG. I got a 3-way tie going right now between Karma, Jacqueline, and Jazz.
Man.
And I don't know who to pick.
You'll get beat no matter which way it is.
Yeah, but I know I ain't got to worry about nothing because if somebody mess with me, all I got to do is call my mama.
Yeah, but which one scares you the most about if you got in trouble? Whose butt whipping would be the worst?
Jazz.
I think Jacqueline.
Jazz.
Really?
Jazz.
Over Jackie? That good old Texas
Jackie.
beating?
Yeah. Hey, I take a Texas beating over a New Orleans beating.
No. I mean, also Colin would give a good beating too. They'll kind of look alike, but that's a whole different story.
What's that face, man?
Oh, you know.
He over there. Oh, he over there grubbing again. Okay, that's
we had to end it. You couldn't wait 3 minutes.
Over there getting his grub on. He got his mouth full and everything. Look, just chewing.
3 minutes.
My sugar was low.
We had 3. How you going to tell everybody? What is that?
Brownies. My sugar was low.
Those aren't loaded, are they?
No, man. I'm a man, so I can't do that.
Brownies. We're not sponsored by Loaded Brownies.
But hold on. That wasn't a Me Too moment. That's what that look meant.
What?
Karma gives a good beating.
No.
See, we had already established the content of the beating and what we were talking about. So, that's not a Me Too.
It's a Mother's Day show, man. You gotta.
We had already established what kind of beating we were talking about. So, yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about moms and them, not baby moms and them.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
Man,
I'm gonna leave it alone.
You're doing everything, man. Over here, we have one job, man. Just bring it home.
But hold on, wait. I said if my mom was China, you talking about you coming over to get juice because you seen my mama for one night. What you?
Well, I mean, she did do some porn. I mean,
she did quite a few. She was a She-Hulk in a couple. She did quite a few. Pretty damn good ones too.
That's what I'm saying. I found it in my daddy's closet, and then I watched it. I was like, "That's KG moms." Like, you can't blame me for that.
I mean, he could have done that with me with Jacqueline, because I mean, Jacqueline is known for her antics.
Hey man,
back in the beginning of her career, back in Tennessee and Texas.
You and New Jack, leave that alone, man. We're not talking about that. You and New Jack, leave that alone, man. That's all I'm saying. Just leave that alone.
Really. But before we get off the air, there's something I forgot to mention earlier that I wanted to talk about as far as MLW.
Mm-hmm.
MLW had their last show for the season, and the main event was Leo Rush defending the middleweight championship against Myron Reed, of which he wound up losing the match to Myron Reed. So Myron Reed is the new MLW middleweight champion, and in the 19-year history of MLW, is the first 2-time champion in that company. So kudos to him, and they're going to end their season, which is pretty much the reason why the Saturday noon show on Vice is going back and showing all the older shows because they're going to pretty much stop production on shows until July the 10th. And on July the 10th, they're going to have their first show in the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. And they're going to start moving their shows around to different cities and having live audiences again. So, July 10th, the MLW shows usually have their show on their main show on Wednesdays, but they have the replays on Saturday nights at 9:00, and they have the Saturday noon show on Vice Network, the same network that does Dark Side of the Ring. And they'll be doing their shows on those platforms as well as on Fight TV and other outlets. So I just wanted to make sure I brought that up before the show was over. I forgot to put that in my segment earlier.
All right. Well, and if that's the case, then might as well just put the PSA out there for all of our listeners and watchers. Please be nice, be good on 4th of July, because that will be this year's litmus test. If people go buck wild on 4th of July this year, the country truthfully could regress instead of clear when it comes down to all these COVID restrictions.
Oh, forget for July 1st. You forgot about Memorial Day. Memorial Day comes at the end of the month.
Yeah, but
that's when everybody's gonna go. That's when everybody's gonna get out and go buck wild because it's gonna be warm. It's gonna be good and warm everywhere by then.
Yeah, that may be a cookout, or people. We talking about mass travel. Florida is going to be nuts. Myrtle Beach is going to be nuts. Virginia Beach. Memorial
Day too. Memorial Day too. Especially when you're talking about Daytona Beach and all the bike weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
And all that stuff and all the spring breaks.
Atlanta as a whole.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, please, think about that and make sure we all do what we need to do so that way, from a wrestling standpoint, we can get higher capacity into arenas. WWE can finally, even though it's all right, but get rid of the Thunderdome. You've done what you need to do. You become critically acclaimed, award-winning. Get some people in Raw and SmackDown. AEW can get to a big venue and start touring like they are planning on in August, and we can really get the independent circuit back out there in droves, and more things can happen and more opportunities can be out there for all the sports entertainers, wrestlers and wrestlers and all that stuff. If everybody does well on those two holidays, and we can, have a great summer and then end of the year with hopefully, minimal COVID restrictions and get back to a state of normalcy. So, Sideline Junkies, well, I'm sorry. We're going to go through and, do our normal. KG's going to tell us where you can hear us, etc. But also, this is the final round of sponsorships that we're not sponsored by, but, it could be. So, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you're on YouTubes and all that fun stuff, you can click the like button and subscribe and, do all those fun things that people normally hound you and beg you for in the beginning of whatever you're watching on YouTube. We're just saying that, hey, if you want to, click the button. If not, click the button. And then we'll go from there. And that plug and that request is being sponsored by Universal Remotes. You never know when things may go downhill. So a Universal Remote will save your life. Keep it in your pants. The backpack or wherever else, because one day you may have to whip it out and use your Universal Remote.
KG, I defer to you on that, sir. You want to go ahead? You want to go ahead and give it to him now? I agree with. I will agree with this one. Go ahead.
Well,
me too.
I agree. I agree.
You're welcome. It's Universal Remote. It works on both sides of the street.
Okay, so forget all that. Before we get KG to tell everybody where we are, who won the picks for AEW? We never said that.
John Cena. I'm not gonna lie to you. By the time I got done with the entire show and realized the debauchery, I'm not even tallying this mess up. But I'll look at it for your sake, James, while you're telling us who you're not sponsored by.
Well, I'm done with my sponsorships.
Oh, excuse
If
me.
we need
Well,
if we need to fill air, then KG go ahead and tell us where folks can find us so you can tally up everything.
Well, hold on, I'm coming. Anchor, TuneIn, Podchaser, Podtail, Spotify, Podbean, Owltail, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, the podcast app, Hub Hopper, Castbox, Google Play, and Verbal.
Okay.
All the places you can hear us.
YouTube
So
and Facebook and what we on Instagram live? We live on Instagram?
Yeah, don't forget social media platforms. Of course, YouTube. You can see us live on YouTube every week. YouTube, Instagram, Sideline Junkies, Facebook, Sideline Junkies :podcast, Facebook group, Sideline Junkies 24/7, Twitter, Sideline Junkies. Man, there's no reason in the world you can't get in contact with us. You shouldn't see everything. We got a debate going on around the office about Len Bias, Reggie Lewis versus Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. Would they still have 6 rings if they lived? I mean, no, we got a lot going on. Go check that out.
Yep, and we're working on being shown on Cornhub as well.
No, that's you doing the Pornhub and OnlyFans and
Hey, don't knock OnlyFans.
Snapchat Plus. Snapchat Plus or whatever it is. What it's called? Snapchat Private.
First of all, you're telling on yourself, young man, because I didn't even know that was a Snapchat Plus. So just the fact that you named something that who knew? Obviously,
just because I'm knowledgeable doesn't mean I'm included.
Oh, we know you included.
No,
we know. The look on your face.
Look, that's what
your face says. That the deduction is coming out of your bank account every month.
That's what XNXX is for.
And on that note,
was that a singing group? In excess?
Oh yeah,
something different.
I said XNXX.
Oh, you on some whole other level right there.
It's just a division of X videos. Don't trip.
I never heard of X video. So obviously I'm a virgin in this group. So I'll let
you are nowhere near a virgin.
Nowhere near. You got more kids than I got.
Allegedly.
You came out the womb with a son. They said not. They said, oh, they told your mama you got twins. Oh, that's it. No, that's his son. I'm already a grandmama.
Hey, James, that's kind of nasty, James.
No more than you talking about Mae Young in her hand.
But she had a hand. I got control of what spits out that woman's machine. KG, do you have a sponsor but not sponsored before we say the words?
I'm sponsored by Nisha's Brownies and Nisha's Hair. So if you want to buy your wife some hair, we selling hair. We got bundles, baby. We got bundles. You want to buy a bundle? Hit my inbox. We got bundles, baby. Bundles. I don't know nothing about it. It's wet and wavy and something like that. I don't know. But we got bundles.
Hey man, I'm looking for some Egyptian silky.
I'm just trying to figure out, does Nisha know you have her hair?
Yes. Stop.
True. She like puppy now. She will start dancing. Take that.
She's been dancing over here in the living room for like the last 20 minutes. I'm talking about. You think she on daggone? You got served right about now.
Go get her cheesecake. Stop playing around.
Man, she better go to hell to bed. It's 11:06. Don't you got school tomorrow? Shit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm the manager, B. Like you over there, tell him he over there talking about his mama China. Like, shoot, you got tender ears. You shouldn't hear that. Now she gonna go to like, Grandma, you in China? Like, yeah, baby. I've been to China. Ooh. Trouble caused. So
Only you.
Only him.
Without any more procrastination, as always, we want to thank everybody for watching. Tell you to diversify your bonds.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
God, James, you had one job. You ruined it the entire show.
I gave it a pregnant pause. Give it a break, man. You be all right.
That's the only pause you would get pregnant. So, KG.
That's all right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. No kids over here. I'm gonna let y'all handle that.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Like God, but like Benjamin Button over here.
Good night and God bless.